All right, we are live, and the New York Mets fucking stink. They are bad.
Bro, if you thought it was bad before, it's about to get real ugly, man.
Yeah, I mean, for all of Max Scherzer's faults, at least seeing that name in the probable pitchers gave you like, oh, we got Scherzer on the bump tonight. We have a chance. And, you know, he'd have some good starts to go along with his go for balls and stuff like that. And then Justin Verlander, who was like a fucking horse by the end there and had a sub-2 ERA during his last like half dozen starts. Him being gone, turns out just Kodai Senga and pray for fucking a strike is like our new motto here.
We had a bottom of the barrel rotation and then removed 2 Hall of Famers.
Oh, it is tough. It is tough.
All you can do is laugh. I mean, truly, all you can do is laugh now because, like, you know what is crazy? I still cannot believe our record is what it is. Like, doesn't it feel like we should be 35 games under 500? Like, it seems like it has been a disaster year. I mean, it has been. And I guarantee there's a bunch of other teams that are 50 and 60 that are just like, yeah, this is our regular year. What are you talking about? I almost like that. It kind of means our standards have, like, raised. I hate the unrealistic fans who think that we're going to win the World Series every year. But I do like the fact that management was like, we're like, 10 games under, 6 games under. Fucking pull the plug. Let's get out of here. I mean, it feels like we're going to win 50 games total this year.
Yeah, it feels like I was like, are we going to lose 100 games? I'm like, oh, we have to win 13 more games to avoid 100.
I know.
And it feels like a 100-loss season.
When we talk about, like, where does this rank in terms of the worst seasons, like, you add in expectations and some of the names and the money, blah, blah, blah. But as far as just straight wins and losses, like, it ain't even close,
Nope. Yet somehow, some way, this team could just fucking gut you and make you feel nothing. Which is why we're going to get ourselves some Coors Lights, because Coors Light got us through the 101 win season last year. We were telling everyone to cherish it, and it's going to get us through this season where it just feels like everything is gone, it's destroyed, it's dead. Just makes me want to retire from the content game. I don't want to be doing this right now. No one wants to be listening to this right now, but we're going to get through it together. Like one big happy family. We've talked about it in the past. We had our therapy sessions. We're going through it. Those goddamn kids better go up from single A to double A to triple A. I want to see the highlights of the big red dog hitting bombs and the better Acuna brother is what I'm going to call him until he actually comes up and proves he's not. So to get yourself into that retired state of mind, you got to grab yourself a Coors Light. It is the beer that is literally made to chill. The mountains on the bottle and the cans turn blue when you know it is ready to drink. Get your cool down, chill out, relax, and watch Mets baseball or whatever you want to do. Watch Rumble Ponies baseball, watch Cyclones baseball. Phil's the only six of a pitch who's probably there for every single inning, every single pitch. So it's perfect for all your summer plans or lack thereof. No judgment here. And that's basically what we are as Mets fans. So this summer, chill like you're retired with Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door with Drizzly or Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/believe. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. We are back here, Mets fans. It's nothing new. However, in the past, we would be in this spot and we would have like a guy we traded for like a Javi Baez who could be good and maybe give you a couple of great highlights that you start believing. But in the end, by the end of September, you're cooked and it's all over. And you get nothing. You don't have a future to dream of.
Yes, it's important to remember that there have been times where we've been here, many times, and haven't done a thing about it. It would just be like we're 10 games under and we're going to finish 20 games under and we didn't do anything to get better in the future. The Wilpons are telling us meaningful games in September because of the second wild card. Like if there would be a world where if we didn't have Cohen, that we would be hearing about like, we're only a few games out of the second wild card. And so just remember that, because as it feels like, you can't have it both ways. If you're going to poo-poo a 101 game win season, you can't also, like, you got to recognize that times were very bad when you're also shitty. You know what I'm saying? I'm not articulating it well, but it's like, you just remember that it can be way fucking worse than it is, and we've been through worse than this. And the fact that we actually have some names to look forward to, and we know that there's a plan in motion means a lot more than when you're 50 and 60 with nothing to talk about.
now let's go to someone like Phil who hasn't experienced all the stuff we've experienced all these years.
That's true.
Phil, how are you doing right now?
Is this the worst for you?
This is probably the worst Mets season I can ever remember, pretty much. So, but
honestly, fuck you.
It almost so Kev, for the people listening can't see, Kev like took his computer and like put it almost like on his lap. It's like he's putting Phil on his lap and like, settle down, sit here, fella. Sit here, little Philip. And let me tell you,
what are some bad Met seasons you remember? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's go back.
I mean, you're not wrong in that. Again, it's the expectations.
Yeah.
Came this 101 win season, all that shit. I don't give a fuck about the money. When people are like, it's $350 million and blah blah blah. Like, all that money's gone now, basically. Like that, like we're already resetting that. So don't care. Never did. But like, I get it with the expectations, but just sheer horribleness. You know, there's been worse.
Oh, if you're talking about worst teams, yes, there's been worse teams than this. I'm saying it's like
But with
the
X factors.
So there's two teams that kind of stuck out in my head, or I guess three teams. 2001 was especially a bitter year because you go to the World Series against the Yankees, you lose to the Yankees, you hear from the Yankees fans all winter. And even though like they lost Hampton and, you know, you kind of like, all right, like, I don't know if we'll be able to recreate that magic again. To just come out and 2001 just sucked. I just hated that entire season. 2007, the collapse. And then 2008, which is another collapse. Plus like, it was like Willie was gone at that point. You knew that was kind of the end of like this run of the Mets. And then the goddamn worst game in the history of baseball, where you're closing out Shea. You have like a morgue. You have the goddamn, like every fan who went to that game should have like a story. They should just like tell it as if they like lived through a fucking war.
I mean, I went to that game and it was the stupidest thing I've ever done. I don't really go to many games as is. And I remember my mom saying, "What are you doing? Why are you going? Like, that's crazy. You know what you're risking?" And I was like, "No, it'll be cool. We're going to like win and get in." Idiot. I genuinely, I know that 2007 changed me as a person.
Yes.
Like that was like, I became a man that year. You know, like some people, it's a religious thing. You go through your bar mitzvah, your confirmation. Some people, it's you turn 18. For me, it was going through that collapse. That was my first taste. And really what I didn't realize at the time was my true villain origin story, because that was the beginning of like, oh, it's not just that your teams are bad. It's that your teams do historically bad shit. It's, you know, after that is like, there's the butt fumble years with the Jets. And then the Knicks are in the middle of their a decade of nothing. And it was like, I mean, I was at the Black Whale. Did you ever go to the Black Whale, Clem?
No, I never heard of that.
The Black Whale was, or Black Fin.
Oh, yes. I think it's Black Fin. Yes,
on
yes.
like 53rd and 5th, like right around there.
I was there for a big Mets. You were there for a big Mets game?
Well, so that was just like a go-to bridge and tunnel underage drinking sort of spot. Like I guess I wasn't underage, but I was freshly out of college, whatever it was. And I remember being at that bar when we went up 7 games, 7.5.
7 with 17 left.
Yes. I remember there was a Phillies fan at the bar, and I remember going, it's like the music was loud. We were kind of chirping each other. The Mets game goes final, and I was like, it's over, dude. We're up 7 games. Or it was like the high water mark of that September. And then I remember like a week later when things started, like it went so fast, you know, obviously. And I remember my mom was on the phone with our friends when we lived outside of Philly for a few years when I was a kid. Obviously, we met a lot of Phillies fans. And this one mom, the only mom that my mom kept in touch with, they were on the phone. They had a nice conversation, caught up about the 2 families. And then as they were saying goodbye, she just said, "We're going to catch you."
Oh.
And my mom never talked to her again.
That was the end of it? That is so mama.
Never. I don't think she has spoken to her ever again.
So I'm looking
that was
here.
it. I mean, that was like, you're a different person after something like that. You really are.
It is. So I'm trying to think of like a moment in like a movie. It's almost like we were Ethan Hawke at the beginning of Training Day. We're like, oh boy, here we go. We're big boys. And then by the end of Training Day,
wet.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, holy shit, there's so much evil and corruption in this world. Yeah. And I was like Bright eyed though, and I'm sure there's Mets fans
Yes.
who had their moments in the '90s with it, and those fuckers. I don't want to hear anyone who lived through '86. That's like your one like get out of jail free card for the rest of your life. But for us,
Also, like
that
when
was
you
the
hear
moment.
stories about like the two Mets World Series, like they're 10 games back in August of '69,
Right.
and then how they won '86. You start wondering, it's like, did they sell their souls to win those two, and we're just not going to get any?
I'm convinced. I am legitimately convinced that that enough people sold their soul and said during Game 6, because it was such a magical season in '86. If you let us somehow win this game, not even the series, just this game, I will never ask for anything else. And you could you butt fuck the Mets. The baseball gods can just like stick their pitchforks into us. Buckner happens, and then it was like
here's the problem. Because that happened in '69. So like the deal has to be. I will sell you my soul, Lucifer, and I never need anything again for my lifetime. And then I guess enough people died. Enough people who sold their souls die.
So we need a fresh set of souls.
In '86, and then those guys sold their soul. So now people should be dying between '86 and now. Enough of you motherfuckers who sold your souls should be dead. So that we can sell our soul.
The boomers really did ruin everything.
People are living too long.
Yeah. Honestly, it's science. The fact that we haven't won the World Series is science's fault because people are going to live to 150. What we should have done is band together as a fan base and said, in the year 2000, we should have said, this is it. Everybody sell your firstborn. Everybody sell your soul. We will beat the Yankees in the World Series. Like I cannot think of anything better than that. I would give back every dime I made to win that World Series. Oh my God! And let alone knowing, especially knowing now that the Yankees have only won one since then, and who knows if they even go on to win that 09 one because we fucking take over the town and all that shit. If like the last true, the hands of the. It's a complete what do you call it, Clem? In Marvel, it's a complete variant. It's a complete alternate timeline. Everything is different. 2007 doesn't happen. I'm not the person I am today. We all should have sold our souls then.
In some sick way, I'm sure like Barstool never exists, so we don't all have these jobs because somehow the Red Sox don't get the 04 over the Yankees, and the fucking Tom Brady. Something doesn't happen with the Patriots the next year, and they don't win the Super Bowl. So I guess we're stuck in this fucking timeline. It sucks, and it's just funny. This is our rant. We just went like a 10-minute rant to start the pod off about like souls and curses. At this time last year, we're like, oh, baby, let's fucking go. If Darren Ruff just starts hitting fresh off the deadline, we could go and win the World Series. The Braves, they're still like 8 back or whatever the fuck it was. And I just looked at the 2007 season, Kev. Man, they played the Phillies in Philadelphia in August. They had a 4-game set in Philly, lost all 4 games, got swept. And then I remember going to this game. I went to the September 16th. They played the Phillies and they lost 10-6. And it was the Mets were 83-65 at that point. I remember saying, it doesn't. I was saying to Phillies fans, you guys aren't catching us. It doesn't matter.
It's too late.
And from that point on, it was like, hey, idiot, you are never out of the fucking woods,
so wait.
with this franchise.
They got swept 4 by Philly in August?
In August, and then got swept at home 3 by Philly.
Was it like we were up 15 games?
We must have been up a billion, whatever it was, because
we lost 4, and then what about the 3?
So we lost 4 at the end of August 26th to the 29th or 30th. We lost 4 to the Phillies, and then they came here, and I was at one of these games. They swept us in our building, 1, 2, 3.
They made up 7 games just on that 2 series. Like we must have been up like 15 games. I mean, that is. I remember Mike and Dog talking, and they were doing classic Francesa, like going through the schedule where they were just like Marlins, Braves, then there's Marlins, back and forth. And they were like, and Mike was kind of like, well, okay, but here's the question, Dog. Like, are the Phillies gonna catch him? And Mad Dog's like, I don't think so, Mike. I don't think so. And Mike was like, I don't either. You're right. I don't think it's gonna happen either, and I don't know why, but I just feel good about it. And it was a tank mush for sure.
And those two whenever they found like a seam where they could just, make Mets fans want to like jump off a building and flood their phone lines, they would take it. And even they couldn't like talk themselves into it. So it was a very special time. And I saw someone in the chat just said, it's Kenny Rogers, 99, walking in the winning run against the Braves. That was probably like the moment where I was like, oh, this team just like fucking hates me because nothing.
But you know what? I mean, that was so disgusting and deplorable. But it was like we made the playoffs, and we, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like we were, back in it. What game was the game prior was the grand single?
Yeah, and so it's like, and this was the Mets were down 3-0 in the series. That game is obviously that's game 6, and they're in it. And if they win that, you go to game 7. You never know what could happen. So it would be like if the Yankees had beaten the Red Sox in 2004, and they just happen to have like Red Sox fans would be just catatonic after that. But then we go out. He walks home the game winning run, and you don't have a chance. And the thing is, they made that comeback and they fall short. So you lived with it. 2007 and then 2008 with the fucking funeral. And then 2009, first game at Citi Field. All the demons are gone. First batter, Jody Garrett, home run off Mike Pelfrey. And here we are today. So we've lived in the past. And the reason why we bring up the past is because of the future. And the only reason we believe the future is bright is because of one very rich man. And he wrote a letter to Mets fans. I think this was sent to like I don't know if it's season ticket holders or if it was just like all ticket plan holders, but I'll just read the letter for people that didn't see it. It went out a couple days ago. Dear, whoever, dear Meek Phil, you sick son of a bitch that watches all of our games.
Dear, dear, it went out to all season ticket holders. Dear Frank Fleming.
Yeah, dear Frank Fleming. Let us start out by thanking you for your continued support of the New York Mets. All right, this one wasn't sent to Frank. This was sent to some other people, I guess.
Imagine if he got every like 10,000 people got it, but there was one
just for
Let us start out by thanking you for your continued support of the New York Mets. We do not take your support and loyalty for granted. It is your passion that makes Citi Field such a special place. We purchased a team in 2020. We said that we were doing it for the fans, our community. It was true then, and it remains true today. When our players arrived in Port St. Lucie for spring training, you had high expectations for the club, and so did we. We added several key pieces to our team, but things have not turned out how we planned. You are rightfully disappointed, and so are we. This is now where we wanted to be in 2023. Our goal is to be a consistent contender. The only way to do this in a sustainable way is to build a pipeline of high-caliber talent in our farm system that will fuel our major league team for years to come. As we approach the trade deadline, we made the decision to expedite that process. It became clear we needed to pivot and build for the future. The trades we made over the last several days have allowed us to do that. In a very short period of time, we have infused an unprecedented amount of top-tier prospects into our system that would have otherwise have taken years to accumulate. I love the unprecedented amount. I don't know if that's true, but you fucking sold me, Stevie. Our front office was able to acquire young, exciting athletes who excel in multiple facets of the game. These include top prospects, including Acuna, Vargas, Rodriguez, Jackson, yada, 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 Gilbert, Clifford. It's going to be fun watching them rise through our system as they develop and learn to win together. We want to thank Max, Justin, Tommy, David, Dominic, Mark, and Eduardo and their families and wish them luck with their new teams. We promise you we will work hard to field a competitive team in 2024. Our core group of experienced players who've never won shit include he didn't say that part. Our core group of experienced players, including Brandon Nimmo, Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, and Edwin Diaz, plus supplementation in the free agent market will allow us to put together a formidable team next season. For the rest of 2023 season, we look forward to watching the continued development of Kodai Senga, Brett Beatty, and Mark Vientos, as well as Francisco Alvarez, who was just named NL Rookie of the Month. You'll see exciting baseball being played by the longtime Mets you've grown to love, along with the new kids. We hope you've experienced all the great new enhancements around the ballpark, not just the giant scoreboard. We've created a more fun environment, from DJ nights, cultural celebrations, fireworks, new lounge, and party areas to our award-winning food. Our fans having a great time at the ballpark is important to us, and that'll never change. It will only be better as the years goes on. Wait until you see what we have in store for next season. We can't stress enough how grateful we are for your continued support. Without you, none of this would be worth it. We believe in this organization and our future, which will only get brighter over the last few days. Let's go Mets, Steve and Alex Cohen.
Shout out to Mama Cohen, because she wrote that shit. That's her alley. I think she does work like that. So That was, I love it. I mean, it's a little bit corporate. I think we could have made it sound like a little bit better, a little bit more real. But I like just the transparency and addressing it. I mean, in years gone by, with all of our shitty teams, James Dolan doesn't speak to the media for 10 straight years when things are burning down. Just fucking talk. Just tell us, like, we know what's going on. Just say it to our faces, and I think that's all you can ask for. Do you remember in 2018, the Rangers did the same thing with their fans when they like kind of unexpectedly, Pat just put it up there, like they unexpectedly sold off. I think after having like a decent team, and they basically the same thing. They're like in the middle there. It's like as we approach the trade deadline later this month, we'll be focusing on adding young competitive players that combine speed, skill, and character. They mean we lose some familiar faces, guys we all cared about and respect. While this is our part of our game, it's never easy. Like this is the way to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if we need to be like, we have a DJ night and we have fireworks. It's like, okay. I mean, that, there are probably some people out there who like, actually like doing those things with their family and all that. But I think it could just be like, I really liked the Steve Cohen when he spoke, when he was asked the questions. That was the real version to me. And I love that when he was just like, a chance, take away, a few more because of this and that. 12. That's the real deal in this day and age, is being transparent and real, if you can be. So like, there's, nobody can say any, like they didn't talk to us or prepare us or any of that. Here it is. Yeah. And if by the way, if you needed to hold that, if you needed to, like, if somebody read that and was like, oh, okay, now I'm on board, you're a fucking moron.
Phil, how are you feeling? Because again, back in the day when we had these kind of seasons, the Wilpons would be like, we want to have meaningful games in September one day. That was like our entire statement.
It does suck to not have meaningful games, but like they did the right thing to sell off. Like I think I tweeted out yesterday. It's like, it's funny that they saw they got one run on 4 hits versus Carlos Rodon and said, that's it, guys. We're not doing anything after this.
Yeah, we're cooked. Like that was the Kunzel moment for them.
Yeah. Because we're the only team that can't hit this bum on the Yankees. We're just going to blow it up now.
Yeah, and they're kind of the like antithesis of what we've done. And I know that they can, get some hot and win some games, maybe sneak into a wild card slot. But like Rodon goes down again. It's yikes over there.
It's very telling that at least in the New York sports radio world, where there's a bunch of fucking, Yankee fans are like, we should have done that. And when you're jealous of the team who has the biggest fire sale like in baseball history, things are not going well. And then, I mean, this last weekend just kind of proved it. Like, big series against the Astros, and it was just like, yeah, you're not going to get it done. And even the game they won, Verlander kind of like shut them down. So it wasn't even like, I hate being in no man's land, and obviously you don't know where it ends up. But I'd rather at least start the process, because every day prolonging the misery.
I talked to Hubs about that too. I say this as a Mets fan, and like acknowledging all our warts, the many warts we have. But the Stanton concussion thing, he's had a concussion for 2 months. Throwing Domingo.
No, it was Rizzo concussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say? Who would I say?
You said Stanton, who's like he has a concussion, but he doesn't have a concussion.
Yeah. So the Yankees not diagnosing a concussion for Rizzo 2 months after he got kneed in the head by Tatis. Stanton like stopping right before he hits home plate to like save himself so he doesn't get hurt like he always does. Them throwing Domingo Germán in a sauna as he's drunk, which is like one way to like try to kill a person basically. And then obviously like the not selling, the not holding Cashman and Boone accountable, all that stuff. That's straight out of our playbook. All that stuff is Mets stuff. It's just crazy to see it happen across town. And I don't know if it'll change until Hal either starts acting like his dad or someone else comes in. I'm not sure. That's not my fucking problem. I'm happy with my guy throwing out that statement. Like you said, it's very like shout out to the PR guy that wrote it, or Alex that wrote it. It's Tia. I love how it's Uncle Stevie and Tia Alex. I love how they call it Tia Alex. And like, I don't know. I feel good about it. And just based on like a lot of the responses, it was a lot of people who were like, I wish my fucking owner would say that. Or, oh, the Mets aren't a complete like dog and like a donkey show over there, the way Max would have you think. And I still think they're going to spend in the winter. If they get, I don't think they're getting Ohtani because I think the Dodgers are just going to get him no matter what. But I think we're going to still pay. And I still think we're going to be good next year. Not great, but we'll be competitive.
I know you brought up the Dodgers, but it's like they had Amed Rosario hitting cleanup yesterday, and he hits a home run. Like they're just playing a different sport than everyone else, really.
Like it is crazy.
And
I don't know, man. I people are so out on Ohtani or like the possibility of the Mets getting him, and I don't know why. I don't think it's likely, but it's just like the Mets are Steve Cohen's boy. We know that. It's like his dream. He loves it. He just bought the team. Chance to get the greatest baseball player of all time.
Yeah. No, it's fair.
Is, old school Babe Ruth shit. Stuff that we usually throw out and we go, well, that doesn't count, though, because that happened in, 1905. And he's doing it in the modern day. And the money that he can make and generate and the cultural impact. And I just don't, I think he's going to want that. I don't, just from a business point of view of would it be ideal if he was a free agent in 2025, 6 or 7 for our 5-year plan? Yes, but he's a little bit early. So I would be stunned if they don't make I guess, people are like, it's baseball. It's like one player is not worth it. But it's first of all, it's kind of 2 players and they're both really fucking good. And again, it's all about the money that it'll generate and all that. You're trying to change the culture. Here's the thing. If you're trying to change the culture as the Mets, Francisco Lindor is great, right? But there's still going to be a bunch of haters. Pete is he's hitting bombs, but he's kind of a goofball. We've got good players, not great players. You go at Ohtani, they're going to be regular ass fans of other teams that buy Mets jerseys because they love Ohtani. You'll have a whole country who loves him. He is an undeniable good guy and talent where it's it doesn't even matter that he has the Mets stank on him. People will be like, that's cool. It's fucking cool to be on the Mets because Ohtani is. That to me is invaluable. More than on the field. He could do wonders for the PR turnaround. I think they should throw everything they got. But
I mean, realistically, they should throw $1 billion at him, but
they really should though.
Yeah.
10 years, $1 billion is worth it. When you can, Jackson Verlander, these guys are getting 40. He in his prime, also hitting fucking 60 home runs. I mean, he should maybe get $1 billion if he wasn't a pitcher. It's give me a break, guys. He's so worth it. That I can't see Steve Cohen being nah, it's a little bit ahead of our schedule. Who the fuck cares?
To be clear, when I say the Mets aren't going to sign him, I think it's 100% on Ohtani being I'm going to turn down this ridiculous offer because he just lived through the West Coast Mets, right? Which the way we look is the way the Angels look to Angels fans right now, where it's you have this money, you have good players, and you just don't do shit every year. I think it's strictly because of him. And the Dodgers will probably have the second highest bid. They win every fucking season, and it's right there on the West Coast. Which again, I don't know how much that means.
That all of that can be true. I just the vibe of maybe it's because the Max Scherzer comments, maybe because their fire sale, whatever. This thought of oh no, the Mets aren't going to be in on Ohtani. I'm hey, they better be. They better at least be.
They'll be in on Ohtani, but not any other top guys. But if you were a free agent. Would you rather be, if you were Ohtani, would you rather be on the Dodgers or would you rather be on the Mets?
The Dodgers.
Get it. I get it. But that's always the case. Other people do eventually go to other teams.
I wish I was podcasting the Dodgers right now. I wish we were a Dodgers podcast. Can we just be a Dodgers podcast for the next 2 months?
I don't know. I get that. It's for sure. But I would just say that, you have a better shot than the fucking Indians or any other team. I pretty much think it's the West Coast, or if there's one guy that could sneak in and be you're going to be in New York City. I mean, Hideki Matsui was a fucking force, and he was a fraction of the player this guy is. If you're talking about global impact and global scale. Now, again, Ohtani, I don't really know him, but I can imagine him just being I don't like that. I just want to play baseball. But there is some pitch to be made for New York City and the level of icon he is. And just Steve Cohen being we will get whatever you need, whatever you want. You got the keys to the castle. We'll build the city around you. We'll build you I'll build you a goddamn skyscraper. Ohtani Tower. I mean, there's just a level of Cohen that I don't know if anybody else has. So little bit of an X factor. I just hope that it's like on the record and Ohtani says, thank you, but I'm gonna go to the Dodgers for $500 million less. Then it's like, what can you do?
Yeah, and I imagine they probably have already like gotten this pitch and all the different things they're going to offer him. That's probably been like the last week for probably the next 2 months. It's like, what are we going to offer this guy to get him to say no? Because again, you tell me Steve Cohen hasn't had people he wanted to hire for his company where it's like, listen, I really don't want to move my family out, and then he just keeps sweetening the pot. We've heard about with the houses, right? Where the guy, he came in over the top on all these different houses. Yep. He wanted them. The fucking goddamn pointing man. Like he'll have fucking Ohtani and formaldehyde when he dies. He's like, listen, if you don't sell with me now, I'm getting your corpse. Even if it's my kid's getting it, I'm going to put you for formaldehyde and put you next to my shark. So he's going to make the best offer, whether or not it's accepted. But no, Kev, I think you're definitely right. I don't think we're out on Ohtani. It's just, I don't think we're going to be in on Ohtani and then whoever the next two best pitchers are. It's going to be him.
I would just do Yoshi, and that's it.
And Yoshi too, because I don't think anyone with a qualifying offer is going to be really offered anything. That seems to be the vibe of it.
That's the MO.
And I saw this stat the other day. Cespedes Family Barbecue tweeted it. The Mets traded 5 players and are 0-6 since the trade deadline. The Red Sox acquired Ronald Lever, are 0-6 since the trade deadline. The Diamondbacks acquired a closer and outfielder, are 0-6 since the trade deadline. And the poor Angels.
The Mets are going to win. How many more games do you think the Mets will win this year?
14, just to avoid 100 losses.
Yes, just enough. Yep. Like we won't. Famous last words. We won't lose 100 games, but it'll be fucking close.
And I'll be give me that top 6 pick.
No, but unless it's just we see that's baseball, Susan, and like these scrubs go out there and throw quality starts, and it's like, well, what the fuck?
Yep. And then the Angels have acquired 5 players. They were buyers instead of sellers, which, they didn't trade Ohtani when they could have gotten something for him. And they are 0-6 since the trade deadline. So the trade deadline isn't always fucking a fix-all. It's not always like a killer. And there's teams that won, like the Rangers obviously have won some games as well. But just one of those, that's baseball season things, like you said, Kev. So I'm happy with a guy who's smart and has money and wants to win is running our team. We just need to fucking figure it all out. By the way, David Stearns, he's a Harvard guy too. So I didn't realize that when we were talking to Joe DeMeo last time. I like having a Harvard guy in charge, even though we were.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart dude. Like, I get worried with him because they've just like hyped him up to be this guy, and I'm like, oh boy. I do like the Mets fan thing, but he's just got a lot to prove. But yeah, Harvard dude and a Mets fan, sign me the fuck up.
Yep, sign me the fuck up. And won some games in Milwaukee if he didn't win a championship. You guys want to? You guys? Shit, we got to do White Sox.
Let's just talk White Sox real quick, and then you guys can do the grid. I would say the Tim Anderson fight is, first of all, as much as I love it and like it's just awesome. I didn't see like a slow motion version of it. Like, did he really whack him with the tag the way?
The tag.
Because that's what Jose Ramirez was like. He tapped me a little rough, and he's been disrespecting the game for a while now. And I was like, that's not that play was not worthy of like, let's throw fucking fists. So I'd imagine that has to be more of like a AL Central rivalry where they've like it's been brewing or whatever. So I don't. But who cares? It doesn't matter what causes the fight. Once the fight is on, there's a winner and a loser. And boy, Tim Anderson was a big time loser on that one. I think as far as modern baseball, the modern day baseball fights, to me, it's like right up there at the top of the list. I got Joey Bats and Odor. You got I guess it depends on how far back you consider, because I feel like back in the day they would brawl like for real, right? So
I think Ventura and Nolan is on.
Ventura and Nolan, enough. Joey Bats, Odor, Joe Kelly, and this
Dempster, when Dempster fucking lifted the guy up and like body slammed him. Yeah, I think that's up there. This one was special for a lot of reasons. One, you have a clear punch. You get a clear view of the punch and the knockout. And Kev, you'll get this, and a lot of my fellow olds who were around when this game was around forever. It's the opening of Street Fighter when the guy hits him, when it says like insert your quarter, and it's the guy hits him and he goes down in like slow motion. So the punch was so clear. The umpire being right on top of the call, and then as they square up, leaves and goes from Major League Baseball umpire to boxing referee was incredible. He was like getting you like almost had like 3 judges show up at ringside. Everyone knew what was going on. And the guy, the announcer Hamilton, the Guardians announcer, when he goes, down goes Anderson, down goes Anderson. Honestly, the best call I've heard of the year in any sport. And it was a baseball game. It was a boxing match during a baseball game where it happened. That was the absolute highlight for me.
You gotta, as an announcer, you gotta be on your toes, ready for it. Sometimes guys are like, there's something going on the field. There's a script. You got to go into like Kevin Harlan mode where you're just like, I'm doing a different sport now, and capture that moment because that makes all the difference. Tim Anderson then going on Twitter and deleting tweets about good night and right hook and all that shit. When you get touched up that bad, and it doesn't even have to be whatever it is. You could be a fight. It could be an accident. You could do something stupid and goofy. When you get that embarrassed, you have to lean into it. You have to just go post-game press conference. I got knocked the fuck out. I got slept. I went to the shadow realm. And then people just go, all right, like you scrapped, you lost. That's how it goes. But trying to delete tweets and all that is like, oh, you are adding gasoline on the fire, my man.
Yeah, I was sitting on the local and I got hit with the express. Like you just do that and everyone's like, oh, he's owning it. You know?
Done. And if you're Jose Ramirez, it's got to just feel so good. Like, because, they both were still doing rough and rowdy, just throwing like haymakers. But just that one connection and that like big tree fall hard. Oh, and for a guy who has been, he's had his own controversies and like always talks shit. It's like, you did not back it up on that one, sir. Also, like I would say, fuck the White Sox and anybody who's down with them. So I was team Jose Ramirez on that one. Oh, and Meek sent this about the White Sox. The White Sox are trying to claim that their season was shot because of the WBC. No. That's ours. Because if you say that, then all of a sudden people say, oh, all the teams who suck are just blaming the WBC. So I don't want you piggybacking on that because it takes away our excuse, which is a valid one. You guys just fucking suck. The WBC cursed the Mets, not you.
The Mets own the hatred. Mets fans own the hatred of the WBC. Nobody else.
And I'm months late, dude. Months late. Where were you in March? Then you can fucking talk shit.
I'm looking here. I didn't realize the White Sox won on Saturday night too, because it was so much. And it's like, no, that it should have been like game over. Guardians win Saturday night, and then Sunday as well. It's like as long as the memes are still being made, you guys are still taking losses, and no one has to leave the clubhouse. Just stay in there. It was one of those electric Twitter nights that makes you think about the old days. Everyone got their jokes off. Everything was absolutely incredible.
Rings. Did you see the Sonic rings? Great.
The Sonic rings was incredible.
The JR treatment. Anytime you're getting the JR treatment, you fucked up. It's perfect. It's like what the internet. Those moments are like when I'm like, okay, it was all worth it. All like the harassment and haters and it's poisoning your brain. All of it's worth it to watch a fucking Sonic the Hedgehog meme of Tim Anderson getting knocked out.
And like Max Kellerman once said, he goes, you put football in one corner, baseball game on another quarter, basketball game on another quarter, and a fight on the other corner. Everyone's watching. And this just goes to show you that was like it was the best baseball moment of the season, right? Like I think that's
real.
Pretty clear to say.
And old school wise, I'm sure there was a bunch of fucking Ty Cobb once like stepped on a guy's head, and one of my favorites is that dude who lays down the drag bunt up the first baseline so that he can clock the pitcher. Like the old school guys really did some wild shit. But I'd say it's Mount Rushmore shit for modern day baseball fights. Anytime you land a clear punch, it's so rare in baseball with like the slapping and shit. I guess A-Rod and Veritek and Don Zimmer and Pedro are all up there, but as far as guys squaring off and punches landed, it's right up there at the top.
I'll say I think this fight was a better actual fight than the Odor fight because he took the hit and kept fighting Joey Bats, but the sunglasses coming off was maybe the best.
It's not even necessarily the video; it's the picture of. It's like Apollo and Rocky at the same time, and everything flying off that belongs in a fucking museum.
So that's it. If the Mets like aren't going to win games, and by the looks of it, they're probably not going to win a bunch. Just fight. Just fight.
Yeah,
Like,
just fight. Just fucking fight, man.
All
right, you guys do your grid. I got to go to be in a corporate meeting.
Corporate Kevin. We'll see you later, Corporate Kevin. Thanks for joining us. We'll see
KF corporate.
We got this week's grid, which I just looked at it. I just pulled it up. It doesn't look as hard as I thought it was going to be, so I think we're good. I have the fucking cheat code Meek Phil with me here. So we have people going left to right who are listening. Angels, Cubs, World Series champ on the top, and then from top to bottom on the left-hand side, we have Cardinals, Astros, 300-plus career saves, which is always tricky because I never really know which guys, if they're active, have them, if guys, if they're not. All right, so I'm going to start off in the upper left-hand corner. I think I got the first row. I'm going to do mine because Phil's already done it. Oh,
can you? Yeah, there we go.
Can you see all right? Okay.
Yeah, it's better.
All right, we're good. All right, Angels, Cardinals. John Lackey. Is this right? Phil, correct me. Is John Lackey all right for Angels, Cardinals?
I don't remember him ever pitching for the Cardinals.
All right, let's see if we get it. All right.
Oh, okay, so I guess he did.
2%. Jesus Christ. All right, Pavs, give me something here. Give me something. Do you have an Astro Angel, Pavs?
Astro Angel. I mean, obviously Ryan.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's probably gonna be one of the more popular ones, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you can think of something else, because that one's gonna be high, I feel like.
Well, fuck it. We mentioned him. We mentioned him. But he does 46%.
Yeah, 46.
All right, Phil, you 6-0 bitch. Give me something here.
I did Jason Isringhausen here because he pitches last season in Anaheim.
Oh, did he really? I don't remember that at all. That hurts. Just because, again, like you said, top row, Cardinals World Series champs. Well, that's winner. Cardinals, Cubs. Lester? I think Lester was both, right?
Yes.
Hello,
because the Cardinals traded Lane Thomas for Lester those last 2 months.
Phil, you don't have to throw the Lane Thomas thing at you sick fucking bastard. I love you for it. No, I love stuff like that. That's my favorite Meek Philism. Cubs, Astros.
Mancini.
That's a recent one. Might be high. Yeah, 25.
Wow. 300-plus career saves with the Cubs. I only got one of these for them.
There's
Phil.
3 off the top of my head, I know.
The only one I got is Lee Smith. Like, definitely. I feel like Lee Smith, he was like the one closer. But Phil, do you have anyone you wanna throw there?
You could throw in Chapman. You could throw in Kimbrel. Rich Gossage played a year for the Cubs.
Eckersley. Dennis Eckersley.
Did Eckersley have?
He had 300. I believe so.
All right. Look at that fucking hair, Eckersley. Man, must have been so nice to have Eck coming in the games looking like that with that hair and that fucking mustache. Just fucking, that is sex. All right. World Series champions. Cardinals, Astros, and 300-plus career saves. Now, Phil, you said it. That Cardinals one hurts a lot. It hurts a lot.
I mean, you had to pick a 2006 Cardinal for that. And
do we want to do that to like rip the fucking like wound off?
Yeah, do you want to pick for that or
I'm gonna do the most hated one I could think of. And is it Wainwright now? Like Wainwright, that was a hell of a curveball. You tip your cap. Is it like I used to love Jim Edmonds back in the day. There's one man though on that 2016 that you two were a little young for to really.
I think I know who you're gonna say, but let's hear you say it.
Scott Spezio's fucking soul patch was the most fucking obnoxious thing I've ever seen.
You gotta spell his name.
I just gotta spell his name right. Here we go. Scott Spezio. It's S-P-I-E. Oh, that's even more obnoxious. Look, he has a fucking little bit of a soul patch in this.
I did too. Jeff Suppan for that because he started Game 7.
Yep, against Ali, which was like, that's how you know both teams were just exhausted by the end of a 7-game series. It was Suppan Perez in Game 7.
You want us to name a random 06 Cardinal to hate? This is haters square.
Yeah, haters ball right now. What do you got, Pavs? You got anyone in 2006 that you've learned to hate over the years?
Eckstein. I don't know why it bothered me so much.
No, that's fair. Yadi Molina could be on there. Eckstein. Yeah. Eckstein was number 2 for me. If Spezio didn't have that soul patch, we would have all hated Eckstein number 1 by far. Even though he was like their Joe McEwing at the time.
Who you got?
I said Jeff Suppan.
Yeah.
Astros World Series champs. Now this is the opposite. I have nothing but love in my heart for the Astros because they took the Phillies down last year. They've taken the Yankees down a bunch of times in the past. Nothing but the absolute, like, I almost want to throw Altuve in there, even though it's a crazy number, because he's like the face of this team that I'm like, good, they fucking cheated. Of course they did. Everyone else cheated. The Yankees got Beltran afterwards. Cora went to the Red Sox. We got Beltran. We fucking fired his ass before he could even get his cheating institutions in place.
I had an absurd one for this one, but who do you want to go with?
Let's hear it, Phil. I want to hear the absurd one.
Juan Centeno, because he played like 12 games for a Met, and I don't know how many games he played for the Astros, but he was on that roster.
Who is
in
this?
17. Juan Centeno with a C.
Oh my God! That is some real.
Do you even remember this guy on the Mets, or just me?
I mean, like I might. But
not even a little
not
bit.
really.
I've
Yeah,
never seen this guy in my entire life.
It's like 2013-14.
That is some fucking sick Phil shit. All right, 300 plus save career and World Series champ. I mean, Mo's the obvious one you think.
Yeah,
of.
you can go with Mariano.
Eckersley could have been there.
K-Rod.
Actually, yeah, let's fuck it. We'll throw K-Rod in there. We didn't throw him in for the Angels, so he's a Met. Even though he was the pink guy, we had a whole bunch of shit with him back in the day. Rarity score 88, and that's with a couple of chalky ones.
Yep.
Phil, tell everyone your rarity score for today.
I got a rarity score of 10 today, so
that is one sick puppy, but that's why we love him, folks. He's our fucking baseball savant. Phil's going to be doing some heavy lifting here and trying to like talk us through how the fuck we're supposed to care. Are you watching like the minor league baseball games? Are you getting in there?
No, I'm not doing that. I'm just following through highlights on Twitter and Mike Mayer, who's apparently knows every prospect like the back of his hand. They should have a prospect grid for like a prospect Immaculate grid. And Mike Mayer can get like a rarity score of 5. But who played for like the Altoona Curve and the Akron Rubber Ducks or something?
So it should be a fun next couple of months here for us Mets fans. Any other ideas you guys want us to do? I think at some point we're going to have to talk football. And like, remember we had like our Knicks corner at the end of their season into the playoffs. I think there will be like a Jets Giants corner we'll have to do at some point if like we're at 90 losses and 17 people are at Citi Field every night. But until then, no matter what, for this season and future seasons, gotta believe.
Gotta believe.
Gotta believe.